To all those people watching, I'd like to remind everyone that this video is not made for kids. It's for older fans and adults. Enjoy the fucking video! Every weekday, Thomas and his friends would often pass a primary school near Dryaw airfield. Often they would see the children in the playground, and they would give them a whistle saying hello to them as they passed by. The children would often run to the fence and wave and say hello back, until the engines were out of sight. But out of all the engines, they loved seeing Thomas the most. He would pass by giving extra peeps on his whistle. "Beep beep, hello, here I am," he said. "Hi Thomas," cried the children. The teachers even give him a wave as he makes his way to the station. Thomas always loves seeing the children, and sometimes he wishes that he could see them all day, every day. He began to think about attending school. "I would love to go to school," said Thomas to Bloomer one day at the big station. Sir Stephen Topham had overheard, and he laughed. "Engines don't go to school, Thomas," he replied. "You're far too big. Besides, I need you to run your branch line. Toby and Percy couldn't handle all your work as well as their own, you know." Thomas knew that Sir Stephen was right, but he couldn't help but imagine it. But one afternoon, Thomas passed by the school, but he saw no children waving or running towards the fence. He saw a group of parents and their teachers with concerned looks on their faces as they were talking to each other. Then Thomas could see a sign nearby. His driver read it aloud. "Save our school from closing down. Come to our grand fete." Thomas was concerned. Why is the school closing down? What would happen to the children? "I don't know," replied the driver, "but it is serious. It seems they don't have enough funding to keep the school going. The children would have to find different schools." "But then that means I would never see them again. We must do something." When Thomas was making his way to Tidmouth, his driver had an idea on what he could contribute to the school fete. "I know, I could bring my 2 donkeys to the fete to give the kids a ride. And I have a clown suit at home," added the fireman. "I'm sure the kids will have a laugh at it." "Maybe I can help?" asked Thomas hopefully. "It would be nice, but you'll need to take passengers as well, Thomas," replied the driver. "But the children all love me," he sighed as he made his way down the line. Thomas's crew were at Tidmouth telling Sir Stephen about the fete. "I say, this is a matter of great concern," he said. "I will volunteer at the fete as well, and will give them some money to keep the school going." After his last train, Thomas puffed sadly into the shed next to Percy and Toby, who were talking about the school fete. "I wanted to help as well," sighed Thomas. "I hope the fete goes well. It will be depressing to see the children gone." Toby and Percy silently agreed. At his home, Thomas's driver owns 2 donkeys, and he would usually take them out to give children rides at some fetes, carnivals, or even at the seaside. Their names were Jim and Holly, and as he was checking them before the fete, they began to cough, and he saw mucus coming out of their nose. He then called a vet, who came and examined the donkeys carefully. "Your donkeys has respiratory disease. It's only mild, so they don't need much treatment, but they need their rest," she said. The driver sighed, then made his way to telephone Sir Stephen and told him what the vet had said. "So yes, both of my donkeys have a bad cough, so they can't come to the fete." "Oh dear," said Sir Stephen, and then he had a smile. "I think I know who can take over their duties. Come to Thomas's shed in the morning of the fete." So he did, and Sir Stephen then told Thomas about the sick donkeys. "So, I want you to give the children rides instead." Thomas was excited. "Daisy will come from Harwick and will look after your passengers until you're done for the day, so you can be cleaned and polished at once." So Thomas's crew began to do that while the workmen were cleaning his coaches. After that, Thomas made his way to the school with his driver and relief fireman. At the school, the playground was very busy. Thomas's fireman was dressed up as a clown and was making the children laugh with his antics and tricks. There were stalls selling tea, cakes, soft drinks, and some knickknacks that people were giving away. There were games to play and competitions to win. But the most popular ride for the children was Thomas, who was puffing up and down from Dryaw to Toy Wreck with the children on board. He also made way for the other engines who were doing their regular duties. Thomas was very pleased, and by the end of the day, the principal of the school was counting the money that was given to by the parents and guests who had come to the fete. Later, he called for complete silence as he was making an announcement. "We have raised enough money today to save the school from closing," he declared. Everyone cheered, and Thomas was delighted. Ever since that day, there was no threat of closure for the school, and Thomas and his friends were all very happy to see the children every day outside on the playground.